אליהו הנביא, אליהו התשבי, אליהו הגלעדי, אליהו הגלעדי, אליהו הנביא, אליהו התשבי, אליהו הגלעדי, אליהו הגלעדי. במהרה יבוא אלינו עם משיח, עם משיח בן דוד. במהרה יבוא אלינו עם משיח, עם משיח בן דוד.
So, this time of the fourth meal, it's not a coincidence that the number 4 corresponds to, after you have the 3-column system, you have the 4th, which is the manifestor of the Malchut. You have Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, representing the right, left, and central column energy, which is the energy that we tapped into throughout Shabbat, all the wondrous gifts of the meals of Shabbat. You know, the meals of Shabbat have, according to that, we can tap into certainty and happiness throughout the entire week. So just as with anything, when it stays in potential, it needs to manifest at some point. This time right now is the time to manifest all of the energy from the meals of Shabbat with the support of King David.
And then something that I wanted to add, just in the 4th meal, you know, it's something that we do every week, and it's nice to add new pieces of consciousness. And something that I heard recently is that, just in addition, every connection that we do, whether it's with the Hebrew letters, with the songs, even just a sharing action with someone else, it obviously connects us to the light. That's what we learn. But in addition to that, it surrounds us with light. So that for the future, any moment after that connection that we made, any moment after that sharing action, everything that we interact with, that we touch, that we speak to, the physical objects or the people, it's those people or those things are also now imbued with the light that I'm surrounded with because the action I did. And the consciousness that we have, knowing that that's true, is everything. So, you know, for the next 10, 15 minutes, we're going to sing, which draws energy. We're going to share stories. That energy, those actions surround us with light. And for the rest of the week, everything that we interact with, we can imbue with light. So.
There is something that I showed before in one of the previous videos. As it says that King David, like many other elevated souls, achieved a level of Ruach HaKodesh, divine inspiration. It says about King David, and same regarding to Jacob, that the moment that they would get into a state of sadness, they would completely lose their connection with the divine inspiration. And about King David, it says that he would be able to recognize that at the moment that he start to lose the state of joy and happiness, his mind start to become clouded, start to lose clarity. And what he would do, he would not get himself into a meditative state to regain the connection and the divine inspiration. He would invite musicians to play for him. And through the music, his joy, his happiness would be awakened again, and he would regain his divine inspiration. And sometimes for us in our life, and we are far away from the level of King David. But if even King David would use some instruments and external forces to regain his divine inspiration through music, this is something that we can definitely embrace and use. And we want to meditate and to ask to inject the energy of joy and happiness into every moment of our coming week.
המבדיל בין קודש לחול, חטאתנו ימחול, וכספנו ירבה כחול, וכוכבים בלילה, יום פניו כצל גומר, אקרא אל עלי גומר, יום אשר אמר שומר, אל תבוא וגם לילה, כך חכה אל תבוא, אל חטא יבוא תבוא, ביום עליון יבוא, ואשמורה בלילה, חלפה עונת מלכתי, ויתם מנוחתי, יגעתי והנחתי, אסחר בכל לילה, צוליתי במליותה, תחלישה רמנותה, שראשי נקרתה, אבו תודה לכיסי לילה, הרעתם אורה והיום, השבע נביט יום, בנשף בערב יום, ואישון לילה, קראתי חייו שלי, אורח חיים טוב ימי, דלות במצבי, אני יום ועד לילה, תאר פתאום מעשיי, ויום ומכיסי, עיין עין עושי, נכניס לראות בלילה, נחנו בידך כחומר, זכנה על קל וחומר, ים ליום יביא יאמר, ולילה ללילה, המבדיל בין קודש לחול, חטאתנו ימחול, זכנו וכספנו ירבה כחול, וכוכבים בלילה,
So we share stories of tzaddikim in the fourth meal to connect. And this past Shabbat is called Ekev, which means the heel. It represents multiple things, but it also represents the heel, which is the foundation of the body. It represents the foundational concepts of Kabbalah. And we know the foundation of our teachings is certainty. One of the biggest and most foundational teaching is certainty. And there's a story of the Baal Shem Tov. We shared it a few weeks ago, but it's worth it to share again just for the point and for the energy that we received from the story. It says that he was traveling in the desert with one of his students, and they were walking in the desert even for a few hours, and they didn't have any water. And the student says to his teacher, the Baal Shem Tov, he says, I'm getting extremely thirsty. Can you do something? You know, you're a very powerful master of Kabbalah. Can you just make a miracle or something to get water? And the Baal Shem Tov says, I can't do it right now, and they keep walking. And they walk to the point where the student says, I'm so thirsty. He's thinking to himself, I'm so thirsty I could die from thirst right now. So he says to the teacher, I literally feel like I'm going to die from thirst. Can you do something? And the Baal Shem Tov looks at his student and he says, do you have certainty that the creator of the world and the energy of the universe has planned for you a way to get the water you need, a way to satiate and to solve the problem that you have right now? And the student stops for a sec. He doesn't just answer. He stops to think in truth what he really feels and what he really thinks. And he says, yes, I have full certainty that the light of the Creator has water prepared for me and whatever I need. And the Baal Shem Tov hears that and they continue walking. And very shortly after that, they see a man coming towards them with 2 buckets of water. And the student doesn't wait for a single second. He runs to the guy, drinks the water, And the Baal Shem Tov, who's more calm, he says to this guy that they see with the water, what are you doing in the desert? It's so weird that you're walking, in the middle of the desert with 2 buckets of water. And the guy with the water, he says, you're right, it's super weird. I'm the server for a rich man in a different town, and we have wells next to where we live. But today, my master was just kind of went crazy, and he said, don't get water from the wells that are next to where we live. Go travel that way and get water. And that's why this guy was walking in the desert with water. And the idea is not just that because he had certainty, there was a guy that came with water. But the Baal Shem Tov told his student, if you didn't have that certainty, even if this guy was ready with the water walking our way, maybe the water would have fallen over or the guy would have taken a different path. And I heard the story told over by Malko Berg. He shares that every day and every moment the light has prepared for us infinite blessings and all the solutions to whatever issues and problems we have for everyone, every single person in the world. But those are, represented by the buckets are coming our way. And the only thing, to the extent that we have the certainty they can come our way, but when we don't have the certainty and clear understanding that those blessings are coming our way, then maybe the bucket falls over, or maybe the messenger for our blessings doesn't make it to us. So it's one of the foundational teachings of Kabbalah to understand that the light of the Creator has our blessings, our light that we need for our growth, for our purpose in this world, constantly flowing towards us. It's always coming, and the stronger our certainty that that's true, the more it can actually arrive to us and we can benefit from it.
Into his old age, towards the end of his life, he was approaching a stage of his life that his family around him and his son specifically would try to feed him, and he didn't want to eat almost at all. He had lost his appetite, and at some point during this process, his son approached him and asked him, Father, I'd like to, I'd really want to feed you. You're really not eating anything. What is it I can get you? You don't seem to like any of the food that we're bringing you, and you barely eat just enough to survive. And Rabbi Melech told him, the great Kabbalist Rabbi Melech told him that there was a certain town. He said, I think I remember, it's like three towns down from here, there's a woman in a certain house, gave him the address. I ate there once many, many years ago. She made the best soup I've tasted in my life. Really, that soup, if I'll eat anything, I'll eat that soup. If you want to get me to eat, get me that soup. So the son of Rabbi Melech accepted. Obviously, he was so excited that he could get his father to eat something that he traveled couple days to the town over to get the soup that his father would eat. So he gets to the house finally, and he comes in, knocks on the door, and he speaks to the people and says, "Hi, I'm the son of Ben Melech." He introduces himself, and obviously they're overjoyed, almost trembling out of excitement to have such a great soul in their house, such a merit to host him. And they said, "You fed my father some soup years ago, and that's the only thing he wants to eat right now." He approached me and he said, "That's the only thing he wants to eat. Can you maybe make another batch of that soup so I can finally get him to eat something?" And the woman starts looking at him wide-eyed and she seemed terrified for some reason. She wasn't sure what to say, and she tells him, that I'll tell you what happened. I'm almost doubting myself if I'm even the right person that you're speaking about, because I did have one encounter with your father, but it's probably not the food that I gave him, because I'll tell you what happened. Me and my husband used to live near Rabbi Elimelech, near this Kabbalist, and on his way home from the morning connection, he used to pass by our house. That was on his journey on his route to go back home. And every morning my husband would stand outside, kind of shy. He wanted to invite Rabbi Elimelech in, your father, and he never had the courage to speak up and invite him, and he wanted him to be in our house, but he never really did it. He would just stand outside shy, and one day Rabbi Elimelech took notice of it, and he said, and he came up to him, and the man's name was Moshe. And he said, "Moshe, how are you? Good morning." And he said, Good, how are you?" And he said, "Good. Do you happen to have maybe something I can eat? I wanted to get breakfast before I get home. Can I stop by you for a second?" And Moshe is overjoyed. He said, Of course, please come inside. We'd love to have you even for a couple of minutes." And he comes inside, he runs inside, he seats Rabbi Elimelech at the table, he runs into the kitchen to his wife. He says, "You'll never believe what happened. Rabbi Elimelech finally came in. We have the merit to feed him today. What can we give him?" And the wife doesn't know what to say. She's dumbfounded. I wasn't expecting it, and Moshe, obviously you're not getting paid until next week, and we're kind of at the end. We don't really have food for ourselves even. I don't know what to give Rabbi Elimelech. So Moshe says, okay, but please come up with something. We need to give him food. This is a big merit. We need to take advantage of it. So Moshe goes out back to Rabbi Elimelech to speak with him for a little bit while his wife gathers something, even though there's really nothing in the kitchen. She looks in every cupboard, every cabinet, everything's empty. And so she puts on a pot of water. She fills it with she boils the water, and she just, out of pure desire to share with this Kabbalist, she starts to cry. And she looked up at the heavens and asked the Creator, said, "Master of the world, I want nothing more than to share with this Kabbalist, with this holy person, and this is all I have." And the tears dripped into the pot of boiling water, and that's what Rabbi Elimelech had, and that was the soup. So she, coming back to her, speaking to the son of Rabbi Elimelech, said, "This is what I had. I hope that can suffice." And really the message of the story, at least for me, is that we tend to get caught up in semantics every time that we want to embark on something, on a project, on a journey, and even a desire to share. And sometimes it becomes about the soup, about the ingredients. Did I get the carrots right? Do I have my perfect soup? But we lose track of the fact that we want to stick to our desire to share. And if we can really focus just on the desire to share, not even if we have the means to do so or the right way to do it, if we can build a desire to share, then everything else can manifest itself.
בחר אדוני ביעקב, אל תירא ביעקב. בחר אדוני את יעקב, אל תירא ביעקב. דרך כוכב מיעקב, אל תירא ביעקב. ארבעים ישרש יעקב, אל תירא ביעקב. ארד ביעקב.
Shavua Tov, everyone.
Shavua Tov.